The war against insecurity in Nigeria is a pressing concern that requires a multifaceted approach to address its root causes and mitigate its effect. Insecurity in Nigeria has manifested in various forms, including terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, communal conflict, resulting in significant human and economic loss. To combat insecurity, the Nigerian government must adopt a comprehensive strategy that incorporates both short-term and long-term measures. A successful war against insecurity in Nigeria requires a sustained and collective effort from the government, civil society, general populace, and of course, international communities. So it's another beautiful episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways. And my name remains Josiah Mesale, and today we are addressing or discussing this issue around insecurity, and we've tagged it War Against Insecurity in Nigeria, and we're asking what way forward. And we have with us, that will be joining us, our guest, Peter Aka. Please remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in Ways, so be a part of the conversation every single day. You can add your voice to the conversation. Head on to our YouTube page at Official Upgrade TV. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the show. When we open our phone lines, you can also join us by calling in or sending us an add me on WhatsApp. Would add you via video. As always, let me allow you ponder on my quote for the day. It says, unless we have a well-educated people, we are vulnerable on our national security. And this was from Mark Hatfield. Yes, so we'll delve into the conversation around insecurity and what way forward, today, much later. But first, let me run off on a break. When I come back from that break, I want to let you in on my news interest for the day. Okay. All right, so I'll just go into my news interest for the day. It says, let me start with the heavy rainfall, right, warning from NIMET, especially for southern states. Flooding, of course, we always get this every time the rain is approaching. So NIMET is warning that there's going to be some flash flooding. So residents of Ogun, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom should prepare for heavy rainfall over the next 3 days. That's according to the forecast that was issued by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, that's NIMET. In its bulletin, it also predicted light to moderate rainfall in Lagos, Ondo, Ekiti, Imo, Abia, and several other states. So the agency warned that areas expecting moderate to heavy rainfall may experience a flash flooding. So just cautions that the rain may be accompanied by some strong winds, which could also pose risk for weak structures, trees, and masts. And the public is advised to avoid driving through flood waters due to the dangers of the strong undercurrents. They're also recommending that residents disconnect electrical appliances before the rains begin to reduce the risk of electrical hazards and other potential dangers that are highlighted, would be slippery roads, reduced visibility during the downpour, both of which should also or could also severely disrupt road traffic and all of that. So generally, it's just for us to take note, because I think NIMET does a great job at warning us all the time, but I'm hoping that we will finally get to the point where we have some level of proactive measures that will just even prevent it. We are not those kinds of countries that experience those kind of uncontrollable flood. I think what happens with us in Nigeria is just structural defect that leads to some of this flooding and all of that. So if we're able to address the infrastructural challenges, we will definitely not be experiencing some of these floods. I'll move on to my next story. Lagos-Calabar highway. So they said the federal government is of Nigeria has announced plans to demolish 700 properties to pave the way for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, a major infrastructure project that is aimed at boosting connectivity and economic growth. Olukorede Kesha, the Lagos State Controller of Works, revealed this during the stakeholders meeting, noting that the number of properties initially projected for demolition, around 1,500, was reduced to 700 by choosing a more economical route for the highway alignment. So the 700-kilometer highway, estimated at a 15 trillion naira budget, will connect Lagos, Nigeria's commercial hub, with Calabar, passing through several states, with the first 47-kilometer targeted for completion by May this year. So the government has allocated about 18 billion for compensation that is going to be for those people that are affected, the properties that are affected, particularly in the first section, as part of efforts to mitigate the impact on residents. I actually went to, I visited the Lekki Free Trade Zone recently, and I actually saw that Calabar Coastal Road, and it seems like it's going to be something great. I'm hoping to even do something like a report on it, because it's actually all the way from VI straight to Calabar. Like, there is no diversion, it's just a straight road. And for the people that have plowed that route, they say it's going to be something good. I'm just hoping that we're able to gain better understanding as to the economic potential of that road. Maybe that way Nigerians would be a lot more receptive to the structure. But I'm happy that a lot of people will be compensated, because that's the right thing to do. I'll move on to my final story for today. So the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Pate, said over 16,000 Nigerian doctors have left the country in the last 5 to 7 years to seek greener pastures in other countries. He said that the doctor-to-population ratio is now 3.9 per 10,000 patients in the country. So you have let's just say 3.9, let's just approximate it to 4 doctors to 10,000 patients, while the estimated cost of training one doctor exceeds about $21,000. So this was said as he lamented that nurses and midwives who left have also thinned the number of healthcare workers in the country. He disclosed this at the 7th annual capacity building workshop of the Association of Medical Council of Africa in Abuja on Tuesday, with the theme Integrated Healthcare Regulation and Leadership in Building Resilient Health System. So when I saw this report, I was just smiling. I don't know how it's going to be, because at some point they said that the federal government is trying to seek, what's the word now? They're trying to seek a way to stop the migration, right, of doctors. The only way you can stop it is if you're able to match what the doctors are being, what they see that they have the capacity to earn when they travel outside of the country. And I don't think the government can in any way match it, because what doctors and nurses and all the health workers, what they earn abroad, we can't match it. We are still struggling to pay 77,000 naira minimum wage. I hear some states are not even paying it. And so you can't do that. So when I saw that report and I heard that the government is trying to find a way to mitigate it, I just did look. I say, well, let us hope and see. I think what I feel the government can do, especially when it comes to healthcare in Nigeria, if the government is truly serious, I know a lot of medical doctors that are more than willing to come back to Nigeria to set up. Why don't we do things like create like a medical, what do they call that thing? A medical city. It was done in India. create a medical city, like, you know, expanse of land, just like the way you have the Lekki Free Trade Zone. Let it just be a medical city. Everything, build it. You understand? Build it and find a way where there can be a public-private partnership. We have hospitals that are working right now in Nigeria, and they are working because what a lot of people invested so much money in putting that structure, you know, and bringing it up. So we have some of those. So if we're able to replicate it, then you hands off as government. Hands off and let us be, let's find proper, just create the infrastructure. Then let people come, private owned business, medical doctors that are businessmen, come and run it. And let us now find a way to ensure that the, what's it called? The bills are not too heavy on Nigerians, and see if it will not work. You can't just ask doctors not to leave Nigeria without providing better solutions or better alternatives. You as a government official, if you have a small headache, you run abroad. You know, there are rumors allegedly saying that our president's every 2 market day visit to France is because of medical tourism. You know, I mean, we had a president that spent 9 months in the UK and came back very refreshed, you know, because he had very good healthcare. I mean, so the problem in Nigeria, it's our infrastructure, especially healthcare problems that we have, is infrastructure mainly. It's not for lack of the, what's it called, the medical professionals. We have great, I mean, I hear that Nigeria churns out one of the best when it comes to anything medical, be it in nursing or doctors and all that. We churn out one of the best. So all we need to do is create the infrastructure and see how these people can, you understand, run those institutions without any government interference, and see if things will not change. You know, even if they don't go there and stay, they can now do, maybe do 1 month in Nigeria on and off, you know, 1 month abroad, like that. There are so many medical doctors. If you give them the better environment, work environment and all of that, they will rather come back to Nigeria to work. And they are the best in the world. Most of our Nigerian doctors and nurses and all of that, they are doing amazing stuff abroad. So if we're able to match that, then we can reduce this number of people going out abroad, especially our medical workers. All right, so I'll go on a break now. When I come back from the break, hopefully my guest is here to discuss the war against insecurity in Nigeria. Stay with me.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time. Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, before we even we talk about finding a solution and a way forward towards especially insecurity that we face in Nigeria, it would be nice for us to be able to unpack, and just know our history. Where are we coming from? Where are we today as regards security in Nigeria? And joining me to have this conversation is Peter Randy. He's a very passionate Nigerian and an advocate for a more just Nigeria. So whenever you see him, you see hashtag justice for Nigeria. And he joined me live here in studio. Thank you so much, Peter, for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
We were supposed to have this conversation last week, Wednesday, but traffic happened
Nigeria
to all of us.
happened again.
Traffic happened to all of us.
Yeah.
It was such an interesting day that day. We spent hours in traffic, but hey.
You were driving. I had to come down from the commercial vehicle, then trek from Palomo to...
Your own was better. Did you not see Ali Baba's field finish inside traffic?
It was...
If I could find a way to park my car and walk, I would have picked that option.
I trekked from just after Onikonde, the roundabout, through Falomo till the bridge, up till Civic Towers.
Oh my God.
Then we now enter between Civic Towers and Marwa, like 2K. That distance. Nigerians will take advantage of.
Of course, they will take advantage of it. But Peter, we want to have this conversation. Uromi happened.
Yes.
I think it was Benway again that happened recently and all of that. Security is a big challenge in Nigeria. And it seems like for every time we are talking, it just seems like everything we're saying is falling on deaf ears. Yeah. Right? So let's first of all even break down where are we as regards security in Nigeria. Is Nigeria considered, and when I'm saying Nigeria, it's not Lagos I'm talking about. Let's be intentional about spreading it across. How safe are we in Nigeria?
When it comes to, thank you very much, when it comes to the Nigerian state as our territorial integrity and national unity, Nigeria ranks number 6 of Global Terrorism Index. That is just the recent, report that is out. Meaning we are one of the 6th most terrorized nation in the world. And what makes Nigeria's, insecurity more interesting is that we are not fighting any external war with any foreign invader or invader. Nigeria is at war with itself. So our insecurity is Nigeria against Nigerians. Now, whether there are infiltrations, you say that there was ISWAP from the northeast and all that, we have not been able to address or decipher exactly what is wrong where and how to handle it. So today you will see different faces in different regions. In the northeast, it will be unknown gunmen. In the southwest, it will be farmer header. In Benue, it has been farmer header for us forever. In the northeast, it is, they call them, they have changed from Boko Haram. Now there is one called Lakurawa. So that is where Nigeria is now. Every region of the country is grappling with its own insecurity. And that is not to talk about kidnapping, for ransom and all of that. Some even ransom is paid and the victims are still killed. So that is where Nigeria is today. The entire country is a theater of war. It did not begin with this administration, but then again, what is the administration doing to stem the tide that it met?
Absolutely. You know, somebody was saying something around this insecurity, and they said that, you know, right now, if you are kidnapped in Nigeria, you know, there's that conversation, all that period that you are trekking inside the bush.
Yes.
That just be, you know, in fact, the guy was saying the first thing you should do is to ask them for cigarettes, ask them for this, because now it seems like kidnappers are no longer after ransom.
Yeah.
What they are after are your organs. Because that was what the guy was saying. That
Yes.
So if they notice that you're clean, you don't smoke, you don't, you are the perfect candidate for them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the guy was saying that if anything like kidnapping happens, in fact, the first thing you should ask them, please, I want to, you know, smoke. But you get smoke paraga there or whatever. You know, just kind of like, because it seems like a lot of things now is even. You know, it started with armed robbery, then it moved to kidnapping. Now, even with kidnapping now, we're hearing that it's no longer kidnapping itself. They're just using kidnapping as a cover.
Yeah.
Most of these people are organ harvesters.
Yes.
How true is this?
I mean, if someone who has been a victim of kidnap comes out to tell you that this is likely what we experience, then how more true can it be? These are the realities of persons who have been in their hands. It doesn't mean that is the sole purpose of the entire kidnapping. There are persons who were kidnapped, they demanded ransom, they collected the ransom and then still killed the victims.
Yes.
There are those whose bodies were seen without certain organs. So it means it confirms that what they say, there should be elements of truth to it. So there are different phases of the entire insecurity. But the problem, the question we all should be asking is, in the midst of all of this dilemma, what are we doing? Or what is the response of the authorities? Because the Constitution clearly says that the security of life and property will be the primary responsibility of government. But this is going on. 52 people or more were killed in Plateau. The president is in France, reflecting on his policy.
Let's not go there. You know that he's France every 2 market days. I just said it now.
Yes.
He goes to visit France, and it is allegedly that it is for medical. This year, and yet they are complaining that 16,000 doctors have run away from the country. Why would they not run? So, you know, Peter, let us even help ourselves.
Yes.
Right? Because I did a video when that Uromi thing happened on TikTok. When I saw the comments that people were putting on that thing, it got me worried. Yeah. It got me worried because there is so much, would I call it bile against ourselves as Nigerians?
Yes.
And it is building up by the minute, by the second. And every time it seems like there's nothing that can be done.
Yes.
People have come out to accuse those people that they were not, to accuse, what's it called, the situation, and they're saying that those people that were killed, they were not, kidnappers. They were just normal hunters and all of that. There have been arguments around why would hunters, you know, even be in that place in the first place, and why would they be why would they have refused being searched? These are all reports that are flying around. Someone came out today, I saw a video today on TikTok saying that even the people that perpetrate some of the crimes in Uromi are actually people from Edo State, that they are not outsiders that are perpetrating all those kidnapping and all of that. So there is a big issue. Security is a challenge, and yet our government seems to be very, very silent. It's a very deafening silence. Is it that insecurity now, you know, we had illiteracy, or would I call it ignorance as a weapon? We had poverty as a weapon.
Yes.
Are we saying that insecurity has now joined that list, that it has now become a weapon that is being used by politicians in Nigeria?
In fact, insecurity is a byproduct of what you just mentioned. Illiteracy, poverty. There are economic factors that are fueling what is going on. See, Nigeria is in serious trouble. And if we are not careful to nip this on the bud, the state in itself is being threatened. As we are talking today, Nigerian military is in active service across the 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT. There are thousands of Nigerians who are in internal displaced people camps all across Nigeria. Unfortunately, there's a serious trust deficit between Nigerians and the authorities because people do not even believe that these people have the capacity. In fact, a former military general in Nigeria stayed on Open Television, that is the General T.Y. Danjuma. He said the military, they collude with the criminals. Till today, that statement has not been investigated. Nigerian politicians have not come out of the sincere position on what is going on as insecurity. We condemn jungle justice in whatever form that it comes. But the case of Uromi, you now say there are hunters. People leave Kano to go and hunt in rivers on their way back with arms. I don't know what forest and cash. And then now, instead of us, because we have now fractured our fabric of unity with ethnicity and injustice, instead of us to focus on getting the proper investigation and handling the case of Uromi, people are now beginning to question the killings that have happened in the north. You remember the case of the killing of Deborah Yakubu, Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, Deaconess Eunice in Abuja in 2016. What was the justice that was gotten for them? So no life of a Nigerian should be more important than the other. All life should matter. But at the base of all of this is a criminal justice system that has failed to protect everybody. That is why you heard the governor of Plateau State, he said the time where perpetrators are set to go free has ended. Meaning there was a time where people who perpetrated this evil were caught and still released. When there is no justice,
they granted amnesty
to Boko Haram, Operation Safe Corridor. They gave them money and empowered them. So why will insecurity not fester? So when you put bad governance, bad economy, poverty, illiteracy, this will be the end result. Absolutely. So you may not be able to excuse criminality, but you can explain it.
So let's start to look at what we can do, because it seems like every time we come up and we talk about this thing, insecurity is a challenge, and we need to declare war against it.
Yes.
If at all the government, I mean, people have made this argument that the president was so quick to declare Rivers State,
emergency.
A state of emergency, and there are other states that are going through serious crisis, when it comes to killing, and that really do they deserve to have those state of emergencies, and yet we're not seeing all of those actions. So if we want to even start to decipher a way forward towards the insecurity that we face in Nigeria, right? Poverty, economic hardship, weak governance, the ethnic strife that you talked about, these are all the mixture, the cocktail that is bringing about high level of insecurity. So how do we start to solve this problem?
The one question or the one answer is simple. You have to reform your government. Until you have government that is sincere in purpose and is competent, has the political will to address the root causes of the issues, you are not doing anything. President Tinubu did not declare state of emergency in Rivers because he believes it is legal. He did not declare because he believes it is illegal. It is we who are debating the legality of illegality. He declared it because he can do it and nothing will happen, and it fits into his political calculations. That is the simple thing. So when you talk about handling insecurity, other places that are seeing the continuous killings of Nigerians have not gotten that same attention because politically the calculation have not gotten there. If we want to handle the case of insecurity, Nigeria's security apparatus is created to protect the political elites and the rich in the society. Nigeria has a police force of about 400,000. About 200,000 of them are protecting politicians and their families. Who is left to protect other people? Mommy Joe and Daddy Joe in the church. Imam, Sheikh, Emir, traditional rulers, Olori, Kabiyesi, they won't carry posts for them and all that. In Nigeria, if you are a Yahoo boy and you make small change, you can carry two mopo, follow you, they go everywhere where they go. So who is left to protect the people? What is our strength in intelligence gathering as a people? If peaceful protesters come out tomorrow, say we want to protest against end bad governance, police will have intelligence. But when it comes to criminality and kidnappers, there is no intelligence. So the root cause of it is that there is a lack of sincerity of purpose on the part of the leaders. They are yet, is it ethno-religious? Is it just criminality? Is it just the poverty and the illiteracy that is fueling all of this? Until you identify the root cause of it and begin to work on it, you cannot have anything. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, stated clearly that majority of the arms that are used by these criminals are arms that are stolen from government weaponry. That is, criminals have access to government weapons, are using it to kill citizens, and the government cannot protect anybody. So it is either the leaders are trying to get the solution or they are part of the problem. And you cannot use problem to solve problem. Nigerians will have to get an electoral system that gives them opportunity to elect leaders that are competent and sincere in purpose. That is the beginning of the... If not all this one we are talking, we go still talk.
So the electoral system is good. You know, Peter, you and I have had this conversation. Electoral system is good. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But you see, I want us to get to that point in Nigeria where we don't need to choose between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah.
It means that political parties, at the political party level, we need to start having the right set of people in political parties.
Yes.
So how do we get there? Because you see, at the polling unit, I always argue that it is already too late. Because at that point, you are now trying to choose between who has the lesser evil.
Evil, yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Who will do better? You get my point? At that point, it's already too late. And if you now, God now bless you, you now have the leader that has zero, zero respect for rule of law. What would you see? You continue to see some of these things happening. I mean, we've shouted and shouted and shouted that it seems like our judiciary in Nigeria is compromised. Look at what is happening at the legislative arm of our government, right? It seems like nothing is going on. Right? There's just all of those issues. I feel like until we start to intentionally put the right people in political parties, so it is no longer a choice between the devil and the deep blue sea. We are picking between a good and a better candidate. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Maybe that way we might find a solution. But you see, electoral system is great, but I don't think that where we are right now, with the structure that has been created, I don't see political leaders trying to change that status quo because they need it to continue their, whatever plans it is that they have for Nigeria.
Look, thank you very much. That electoral reform is all-encompassing, including from the political party level. And it is the silver bullet for Nigerians. If Nigerians do not believe that you can put maximum pressure on authorities to effect change in the electoral system, what do you think that you can change? That is the magic. What is going on in Nigeria today is absolute state capture, where every institution of democracy will be controlled by one man or a group of persons. If you want to see where it has been implemented before, look at Lagos. There will be no meaningful opposition. The National Assembly see themselves as an extension of the executive. They are there to do the bidding of the executive arm of government. The judiciary is already... Nigeria does not even have a judiciary. We have the legal department of every government in power. Institutions are being weaponized against the people. You saw the case of Senator Natasha. The idea about electoral reform is that it is the first system of accountability. Once you are able to build a system where a person knows that when you get into office and you fail to deliver, by 4 years that same system can take you out, that person will have no choice than to sit up. What is the incentive for doing bad or doing good as a Nigerian politician? As bad as Buhari was, he did 8 years and he was able to install a successor. So when you see me talking about electoral reform, it includes that party primary level that you are talking about. Because if you don't reform it, a president signed not too young to run, not too old to young or whatever it is, but you are also not too rich to run. Because form is 100 million.
Where do you start
Where do you want to start from? So that electoral act is all encompassing. Because I have evaluated the entire process. Election and INEC are the weapon formed against Nigerians. And if all of us start to sing the song, even politicians, they know. Try to begin any protest in Nigeria, say you are talking about end bad governance, bring down cost of fuel. The president will come out and say, don't worry, we will share rice, we will do this. But let President Tinubu come out and commit to free and fair elections. It will almost be impossible. That is why you must insist on it. Because they know that is the only hope they have. Corrupt election.
But we are already used to rigging in this country.
We cannot be used to it.
No, rigging is part of us in this country.
It cannot
be. I'm telling you, Peter, even the best of the best that we think are saints in this country, they've been rigged into power.
Yes.
So what are we saying?
That is why that best of the best and the people who have tasted and seen. Look at a person like Professor Yomi Oshibanjo. What will now happen in Nigeria will be the enemy of your enemy will have to be your friend. The group of persons who have been disenfranchised by the process will have to come together and build the system. INEC already, the National Assembly, they know what they did with that electoral act. They made electronic transfer of results optional for INEC. You need to go back and tell them to make it mandatory. That is what the Supreme Court told them in the judgment.
The system will shut down.
The system will shut down. You must mount on it. See, whatever you want to achieve as a country will take courage and wisdom. If Nigerians do not believe that you can fix election, you can't fix anything. Then let all of us relax and continue to get killed. If your day rich, bandits kill you or kidnapper carry you. If hospital work, you no work. If you go the oxygen day. If school, they rape you, there is no justice. Let us sit down and relax. But if we know that we are ready to solve problem, it has to begin with that courage.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back from that break, I want to read out the budget for security that was done last year. Let us see how far they did. We'll be right back.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I know see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having a conversation. We're discussing war against insecurity in Nigeria, and we're asking what is the way forward. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp. You can also send us an add me on WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone lines are also now open. You can call us at 07025007749 or 0701424220. Let's hear what you have to say. So, Peter, before we went on a break, I was talking about, thank God for AI these days. It's very easy for you to pull out reports. So, according to ChatGPT, in the 2024 fiscal year, Nigeria allocated a significant portion of its budget to security-related sectors. Yeah. Defense and security sector was allocated about 3.25 trillion, representing approximately 12% of the total budget. Yeah. Ministry of Defense received about 1.3 trillion, marking it as the ministry with the highest allocation. Yeah. This was from Daily Post in Nigeria. Then Ministry of Police Affairs was allocated 869.121 billion. Now, it says, despite these substantial allocation, concerns have been raised regarding the effectiveness of these funds in addressing Nigeria's security challenges. For instance, some of the agencies, such as the National Security Advisor and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, experienced budget reduction compared to the previous year. It's on and on and on. It was Abacha that was quoted to have said that if insecurity or insurgency, it lasts beyond 24 hours, that there is government
hand in it.
Not be me talker, na Abacha talker.
Yes.
So in case now for the fine person I want arrest, go carry Abacha. But that was what he said. Do you know that I sat down and I was thinking it deeply. Is it possible for the way insecurity has taken it's not just it's a bracing, when somebody you bold, say nobody go touch you. The way they've taken a position in this country, is it possible to ignore that comment that was made by Abacha? Given that all of this income, somebody has said it to me before, that as at the time where Boko Haram started, in Jonathan's era, one of the JTF members came and bought a house in Banana Island. So is it that the government is intentionally turning a blind eye to insecurity, or they are genuinely handicapped in solving our insecurity challenges in Nigeria?
It is either you are handicapped or you are an accomplice. It is difficult to discountenance that statement, especially with the reality of everything we are doing, we have seen. How many times under the Buhari government did the administration come out to tell you that they have the names of people who are sponsoring Boko Haram and terrorism? Who released the list? Why is government shielding them? Why has nobody come out to tell you that from our intelligence, this and this are the people? Just like the case of oil bunkering in Nigeria, anywhere you see sophisticated crime, you cannot remove the hand of players in the government. A private citizen, you cannot carry a vessel into creek to go and pack oil. With Navy, with Air Force, and everybody who is guiding the place. There must be somebody, an insider, who is helping. The National Security Advisor said majority of the arms used by these bandits and criminals are stolen weapons from government weaponry, armory. You don't get it. How did they get access to it? That is, criminals are able to overrun the armory of the states to take their weapons and go and slaughter other Nigerians. Until date, we do not have a solution to the problem. No, it is either you have the solution or you are part of the problem. Nigerian leaders are not sincere with what is going on with insecurity. Plateau dates back more than 20 years ago. Benue. What exactly is not being said about insecurity? That is where the problem lies. When you see government running from pillar to post, the president will come out, give one lame statement. We will arrest them. We will fish them down. Tomorrow, have you forgotten a time in Nigeria about 4 years or 3 years ago, police intelligence unit went to go and arrest a kidnapper somewhere in Taraba, somebody Wadume. Military officers went and opened fire on the convoy, killing some of the officers and somehow released the kidnapper from there. Today, where is that kidnapper? Nigerian military attack Nigeria police and release kidnapper. And you say there is no hand of government anywhere. Nigerian politicians are deceiving themselves. And Nigerians are the fools or the pawns in all of this. Until we begin to rise up and insert ourselves in the conversation, it will be turn by turn Nigeria. The day happen in Plateau, they say, oh, now 50 people. Until one day, God forbid, you also become the statistics that is being mentioned. They are not honest. There is more to it. The more money you put in it, insecurity is the most profitable enterprise in Nigeria today. Absolutely. The only sector that is doing well in Nigeria is corruption and criminality. So how will it end when you are pumping billions and millions into the whole sector? People are becoming overnight billionaires from insecurity. Nigeria is in serious trouble. Serious trouble. This issue of insecurity, we are talking like a joke. So there is more that the government needs to do. And if they are not ready to do it, the people must wake up and put the pressure that they need to put to save our own lives. Because it always seems far until it comes close to home.
So how do we start this process? Because you see, if you notice, I think it was the second tenure for President Buhari last year. It was constant news that we were hearing in the news every day. Customs seized a truckload of ammunition. There was a time it was bullets. There were a time it were guns and all of that. I kept on asking myself, where are all these ammunitions going to? And first of all, who are the people? You know, because, I mean, you can't ship in anything into Nigeria without proper documentation. So is it that they were not able to trace where these things are coming from, or exactly how did that transaction happen? And where are the ammunitions? Where did it end up? Secondly, we know that for every election cycle, politicians release ammunitions to their touts. You understand? And most of the time, I've heard reports that they are unable to recover those ammunitions back. And because eventually they use them and dump them, those ones use the ammunition to be able to go and perpetuate evil. It's a vicious cycle. So if you say that citizens are the ones that need to wake up, right, to fight this war, because we need to declare war against insecurity in Nigeria. It's either we do that or insecurity will come and meet us in our doorstep. So how do we start to declare war against insecurity in Nigeria?
The question Nigerians will ask themselves is, what exactly is the value of a Nigerian life in Nigeria today? What is it worth? 52 people were killed in a state. The president is reflecting about his policies in a foreign country. If cows of herdsmen are killed, you will see Mieti Allah will come out and put out a statement. If we decide that as a people, we have accepted our fate, that there is no value or dignity to the Nigerian life, we can keep quiet and wait for your turn. Tomorrow it is Ondo. Next tomorrow, look at one of the Afenifere leaders, Paru Ben Fashoronti. You remember his daughter, the poor woman who had lived all her life overseas. She came to attend an event. She was carried by herdsmen and they killed that poor lady. So you think that it does not come close to you until it strikes you. There are people from the east today in Nigeria who cannot go to their villages to go and attend anything. They are stuck in other cities.
Even in Benue, they can't go to their farms.
They can't go to their farms. And then you are talking of why there is hunger and everything. Farmers cannot go. They are being slaughtered. So all of us will have to ask ourselves the question, are we worth the life that we have? Do we really want to dignify the Nigerian life? Imagine 50 US citizens killed by not hurricane, earthquake, internal security. Somebody went and slaughtered, and the president of America is in another country, reflecting on his policies. Nigerians have become so used to bad governance that we have accepted our fate. So we have become docile. There is maximum frustration in Nigeria, but the question is, with your frustration, what is the action? Anger is not a plan.
So what is the action?
All of us must decide to begin to get good leadership. And it must come back to this issue of INEC. You cannot do, if you do a revolution today, because you hear some people shout revolution now, if you chase President Tinubu or any other person in government who takes over, you must go back to the electoral system. Because that is the only system that will bring a government that will have legitimacy to rule. So whether or not you like, look at what happened in Bangladesh. You protest, you went there.
So these reforms that you are asking for, who is in charge of doing the reform? Is it not your National Assembly?
It is the National Assembly.
So what are we saying?
That is where men must mount. That is where the focus must be. The protests that will happen in Nigeria, that will change Nigeria, will be in the National Assembly. It is not the Senate President's house. It is the People's Parliament. Whatever change you want from your constitution or from your laws will be gotten there. And if the people are not ready to give it to you willingly, you must exert pressure, maximum civil pressure, peacefully, as democratic fundamental human right, to get what you want. Other than that, until Nigerian politicians, the people in power, begin to become afraid of the power of the people, Nigeria will not change. For as long as we are the ones who are afraid of them, we will continue in this suffering and killing. Unfortunately, they are protected and insulated. On the next, if a war happens or any natural disaster, they have private jets that are parking. Their children are not even here. So if you begin to think of that and you think of our lives, then we must get the wisdom and courage. We no wonder. Nigerians are dying. You know, one protest. People are dying without protest. The ones who killed, they killed in Plateau, were they protesting against government? We must protest peacefully and demand for change. It doesn't come easy. Your oppressors will not hand you freedom on a platter now. You will rise up and take it.
Comfort says what they have used to become the richest in their time, this is what the armed forces chiefs are. Maybe she's saying this is why the armed forces chiefs are rich. Do we have any other thing that we can use to be able to draw accountability from our security chiefs? Because as it is now, we would occupy National Assembly, no wahala. What about the security agencies? All these people over the years that have been given so much budget to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians, and they are unable to do that. Is it that we're going to turn a blind eye and just allow them to walk away? Because if we want to declare war against insecurity, the war has to be spread across every stakeholder. It is not just the National Assembly. The security personnel that swore an oath to protect lives and property in Nigeria, they are not doing that job. So how can Nigerians, intentionally also hold them accountable?
Do you know the simple answer to that question? Every dysfunctionality you see in every system of Nigeria stems from the root parent cause, which is the bad government. The failure of the military is the politicizing of that unit or department of government by the same politicians. That is why the sanitization will start from fixing the politicians. When you get a person who is competent, they begin to sanitize it. Because guess what? This so-called corruption that is in law enforcement and others, a lot of them end with just the senior officers. Do you know that the officers in these law enforcement agencies are also victims of human rights violations? How much is the salary of a police constable? Even a lieutenant colonel in the army. Do you know how many of them have died? Their wives, pensions are held, families are thrown out of the barracks. Some do not even know those that died with Boko Haram. It was when they needed the apartment in Dodam barracks, they come and tell you, you should move out. They too, if they want to be honest with themselves, have to join to fight for their own rights. Nigerian police, how much is their salary? DPO, Commissioner of Police. If you do not do criminality, you cannot exist on that salary, the kind of luxurious lifestyle they are living.
Peter, INEC is supposed to be an independent body. INEC is a poor. Is a collection of a lot of poor people.
Yes.
You understand that have been given so much power.
Yeah.
how do you expect somebody that is living in penury and poverty? I heard something, because it's not confirmed, I would say allegedly, that in a particular state, where an INEC official is earning, say, 700,000 per month, that INEC official was given $50,000, right, to rig an election in favor of a particular candidate. Tell me, 700,000, what's it called, $50,000. If we have poverty as a, and see, because I'm trying to understand, how do we get to that point where we are no longer thinking self, but we are thinking nation, right? Because we are very selfish in this country. Everybody is just out to look out for what will be my own gain. So how do you get this person that has a poverty mindset, that is already locked up in that trap, to say, this is the opportunity for me to make something? How do they do things right by the people?
It would be almost impossible to get certain people to do things right. And see, that is the wish of the politicians. Everything that is going on in Nigeria as chaos is a blessing to the political establishment. The more confusion there is, the better for them. The more poverty, the more there are people who they can use. But the good thing about when you hear me insisting on INEC is that a lot of Nigerians know better. Nigerians tried to make a change in 2023. They were shortchanged by INEC. There are people who receive money for buy votes.
INEC is not one person.
Yes.
INEC is a combination of youth corpers. INEC is a combination of professors in the university. INEC is a combination of, what's it called? So different people make up
Whatever combination that there is to INEC, get the electoral law and safeguard it. Put guardrails on it. Look at it and look at the loopholes. There are loopholes that are there.
But you know that even the electoral laws that we had, that we used for the 2023 general elections, if we were to go by those electoral laws, however flawed it might seem, there were still some things that the judiciary would have said, you know what, on this ground, there were certain flaws, but they threw everything out in the courts. So even if we today, we fix the electoral laws to say, okay, these are the laws that would govern our elections going forward, and we have a faulty judiciary.
And you were. Have you seen protests will last for 1 year? Have you seen?
Do we have the state power to last in a protest in 1 year in Nigeria?
No, that is what I want to tell you. In Serbia right now, last year, a rail line collapsed and killed about how many people? Today in Serbia, they are still protesting. Nigerians do not know that nation building is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It will not be automatic. You will get one. That is a step. You build on it. If you decide to give up completely because the challenges in front are too daunting, you won't take any step. You will begin from somewhere. The judiciary is bad. See, a lot of people talk about police and say police is very bad, which is true. There is corruption there. But the police corruption or law enforcement is more glaring because they hold firearms that could cause instant fatalities. Taken from them, every sector in Nigeria is as bad. The civil service is worse than police.
Of course.
The judiciary are unarmed police. Petroleum sector, health sector. Go to hospitals. So what are we saying? Everything is bad. But you must decide to look at what exactly will become the solutions. What do we do first?
How do we
uproot it from the roots? If not, we are barely treating symptoms and leaving the cause. And we take it one after the other. That is how we will help ourselves. No great nation was built overnight. It is resilience. It is wisdom. Nigeria is a sophisticated criminal enterprise as it is. It has been in existence for more than 60 years. If Nigerian politicians do not know good governance, they know corruption. If you want to come to fight them, you must come ready with knowledge armed to the teeth. Let every Nigerian today begin to sing about electoral reform and see the reaction from politicians. Let President Tinubu come out on national television and say, I believe I am a Democrat. I am committing to free and fair elections in 2027, and we will begin that process. Pass the challenge to Godswill Akpabio in the Senate. Pass it to the Speaker, House of Reps. If truly people are honest, if they can't do that, then you must insist on doing it. That is their only guarantee.
So do you see insecurity ending anytime soon in Nigeria?
Unfortunately, no.
Why?
Unfortunately, no, because the root causes of insecurity are not being handled. They are not being talked about. We are just treating, dressing and washing and setting. The underlying factors are still exacerbating the insecurity. The only thing you will see is that it will change form. If you decide to attack it in this way, it will come in and it will metamorphose in another direction. If it changes from farmer header, it will become another kind of thing. That is what you will see. Problem that is changing name and location. The root cause continue to fester. We are not touching it.
On that note, Peter, I thought you were going to give me a tiny bit of hope.
I'm sorry.
Tiny bit of hope. But honestly speaking, it's a sad situation that we are in Nigeria, and it seems like, you know, we're complaining and it's not. But do you see any of those rants, Peter? Do you see it bringing any form of results?
Any rant that does not have action will not produce any result. It is just noise. You are just talking. They continue to do what they do. If you don't fix it, 2027, they are back. After that, they install a successor. And the more time you waste, the more they solidify their power. Look at Lagos. You have a template to look. Stop being bad students of history in Nigeria. Stop pretending you don't know what is going on. You know. You have seen it before. You either act or you enjoy and endure it. That's it.
On that note, I will have to stop here. Thank you so much, Peter. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for being part of the show. If you missed our quote for today, it says, unless we have a well-educated people, we are vulnerable on our national security. And that's just the honest truth. There's so much ignorance out there. We need to keep on educating ourselves, and we need to face the right people to solve insecurity at its root. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Hey, wahala deo.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.